Hi, my name is Jeff Jordan, President and Executive Creative Director at Rescue Agency, the behavior change agency. And today we're going to talk about a ready-made campaign to help fight teen vaping in your community. Now, there's no question that teen vaping is an epidemic across the US. The latest figures show us that we are now at 28% teen vaping use in the past 30 days amongst US high school students, according to the most recent National Youth Tobacco Survey. 28%. It's actually been almost 20 years since we had that many young people using a nicotine-based product. That is shocking and something that every single community needs to take action on. This is literally an all-hands-on-deck moment. So, what do we do about it? Well, one of the things that we know is that creating a brand new campaign is costly and time-consuming. Why? Well, because there's a whole lot of steps to do it right. We got to start with formative research. We then have to develop the creative, do message testing, make sure messages are scientifically accurate, produce the creative, develop our digital and social strategies, get through all the different layers of approval, which depending on your organization could be many. And this entire process could easily take 6 to sometimes 12 months. And depending on the scale and size of the campaign that you're creating, this process could cost anywhere from $50,000 if you're lucky, all the way up to as much as $500,000 that people are spending to create a brand new campaign to fight vaping. This is a whole lot of money that we're spending and a whole lot of time that we really don't have. Every day, new teens are getting addicted to vapes, and we need to be out in the field as soon as possible with effective messages that are going to convince them to stop. So what do we do about that? Well, the problem was caused from a pretty central source, right? So rather than have this reinventing of the wheel in every community in every state, why don't we collaborate more? Well, that was the vision that we had when we created Behind the Haze, a ready-made campaign to fight teen vaping in any community across the US. Behind the Haze is an evidence-based campaign to fight vaping in your own community. It's built on multi-state formative research with teens who are both susceptible for vaping and are current vape users. It delivers evidence-based messaging, offers pre-made, pre-tested ad campaigns, and uses field-tested implementation strategies. Any community is able to take this campaign and implement it within their location within a month. And better than that, the licensing costs are less than $25,000 per ad. Think about that. There are campaigns being built from scratch right now that are going to take an entire year to implement. Behind the Haze can be implemented within weeks. So how does it actually work? Well, the first step is communities work with us to purchase a license to the Behind the Haze campaign and what we call message packages, which are essentially ads and all the components that go with each ad. Then we work with each community on their own custom implementation strategy that's based on the client's goals and budgets. This includes which media channels we're going to use locally, which messages are going to be implemented locally, etc. Then the campaign is launched locally. Feedback from the campaign locally, as well as other communities around the country, inform continuous improvement within the campaign messaging and its implementation strategies. Over time, new content licenses are acquired for the next ad campaign. So the campaign is able to be refreshed with a growing library of content that is available under the Behind the Haze brand. And this cycle goes back around as long as the problem is occurring in your community. Today, Behind the Haze has 3 message packages already ready to go, and more are on the way. Each message package contains everything that you need to run a modern youth campaign. It has a 30-second TV or web commercial. It includes a 15-second version of that commercial as well, over 20 social media images and posts, 10 digital media ads or more, a comprehensive website, and implementation strategy and tactics that you can implement. Everything is ready to go in a box, already evidence-based and tested. So how did this all come together? Behind the Haze began with a robust formative research process. Now, we've gone into this in depth already on our YouTube channel, so I encourage you to check out our video on vaping trends if you want to learn a little bit more about our formative research. But in general, our multi-state focus groups with teens who are currently vaping or susceptible to vape revealed the following. The audience for this campaign is a wide range, anyone from 13 to 21 years old who currently vape or are at risk for starting vape. Now, depending on your community, this audience can be narrowed, but the campaign's built for this entire age group. What we know about teen vapers today is that most of them identify with the popular and hip-hop peer crowds. And we have a whole set of presentations on that. If you'd like to learn more, just check out our YouTube channel. We know that these teens are ethnically diverse and economically diverse. So what does that mean? Is that, well, we can't just target one race or one economic group to reach these teens. Instead, we need to know what it is that makes a teen more likely to vape. And what we've learned is that they prioritize social identity and social status significantly more than those who don't vape. In addition, they're more likely to engage in social activities. They value being fashionable, and they have significantly higher Instagram and Snapchat use than non-vapers. Now, these are just a few of over 20 different insights that we have on which teens are at higher risk of vaping. And the Behind the Haze campaign and all of its messages have been designed specifically to reach this audience based on our research in diverse communities. Now, we also know a lot about how they feel about vaping. The first thing we know is that they hate cigarettes and are well aware of their harmful effects. They don't like how it smells, they don't like what cigarettes do to them. But they do enjoy the minor risk of vaping to rebel. So that's something that we've considered a lot in how we develop our messages. We also know that they don't really believe that they can be addicted, often until it's too late, even when they're seeing other people getting addicted around them. So addiction alone is not enough to motivate them to stop, something that we incorporate in our messages. Next, we know that they are concerned about the chemicals in vaping and their potential harms. So they're starting to realize that vaping is not just harmless water vapor, that there is stuff going on, and they're really open to learning about these chemicals and are reacting very powerfully to messages about how those chemicals can affect their health. Lastly, they don't necessarily think that they were manipulated into vaping by the industry, but they are concerned about what the industry isn't telling them, right? What are the pieces of information that are missing from industry marketing? Based on all of this research, what we found is 4 areas of promising messages, what we call our evidence-based messages. The first one is vaping chemicals, talking about specific vaping chemicals and how they can harm you, the illnesses that they cause, and the research that we have on them so far is very powerful for teens who know there might be something off with vaping but don't necessarily know exactly what is harmful about it. Next, we know that teens aren't really motivated by the threat of addiction. But we have found insights that when they're shown what addiction looks like, they're actually more open to considering the threat of addiction for themselves and are more adverse to it. When they see what it looks like for a teen to be addicted, and more powerfully, what others around them do when they see that someone is addicted and how they react and how they may look at that, that can be very powerful. So showing what addiction looks like, rather than just talking about addiction, is a promising area. Next, the vaping industry. Now, teens, this current generation of teens, they don't know a lot about the old tobacco industry tactics, so we have to educate them, but we have to educate them about the new industry. Don't focus on the old messages, focus on exactly what the vaping industry has done, how the vaping industry has particularly deceived teens and marketed their products to teens without being truthful about the harmful effects. And lastly, specific health consequences are very powerful. Now, research is still being accumulated, but we are already seeing a lot of really compelling work on how it is that vaping is affecting teens' lungs, how it's affecting their brains and their hearts. This is information that teens do not know, and when they learn about it, many of them are compelled to change their behavior. Remember, this group of popular hip-hop teens, they're generally a bit risk-averse. They don't want to take big risks, and right now the reason that they're vaping is that they perceive it to be a minor risk. The more you can increase the sense of risk that vaping is, and elevate it closer to the risk that has already deterred them from using other tobacco products like cigarettes, the more likely you're going to succeed in convincing them that this is not a risk worth taking. Now, based on all of these promising messages, the Behind the Haze campaign includes message packages that are ready to go ad campaigns for you to use in your community that's based on all this research, all this formative research about the audience, and all of this promising research about messages. So let's take a look at the first messaging package and see how they come together.
Ads like this keep popping up, but I see through the hype because those vape clouds people claim are just water vapor contain as many as 31 different chemicals, like formaldehyde, the stuff they preserve dead bodies with. And while the flavors sound all harmless, we still have no idea what these ingredients could be doing to our bodies. But I already see vaping for exactly what it is. Look past the vape hype. Get the real facts at BehindTheHaze.com.
That was See-Through, the first ad campaign available, message package available through the Behind the Haze campaign. Now, through testing, what we've heard from teens is that they really react to a lot of the messages within this ad. Here's a few quotes of what they say. I like how it doesn't just say it can cause addiction. It actually started showing the different chemicals in it and what it can lead to. I like that about it. Another teen said, like the flavors, like there's mango, fruit medley, mint, all these cool flavors, but they're covering it up. It tastes good, but there's chemicals behind them. And lastly, another teen said, I like the convenience store name, how at the end the little light flickered off to where it just says lie instead of life. Teens are noticing all of the little bits of information in this ad and are reacting really powerful with it. Remember, we test these ads only with teens who are current vapers and who are highly susceptible to vaping. So these are exactly the teens that we want to reach that are telling us that this is the message that could motivate them to change. Now, another thing we do with all of our message testing is we gather something called a perceived effectiveness score. And on the corner there, you'll see that See-Through has a perceived effectiveness score of 3.68. Now, what does that mean? Well, perceived effectiveness is a 6-item index that's calculated based on the average scores of the following statements of a 5-point Likert scale, from strongly disagree to strongly agree. They are that this ad is worth remembering, this ad grabbed my attention, this ad is powerful, this ad is meaningful to me, this ad is convincing, and this ad is informative. The 5-point scales for all of these items are averaged out together following a survey, and any ad that is above a 3.0 is considered to be likely to be effective. Now, this is a validated scale that's been used for both adult and teen work throughout the country by federal agencies as well as state agencies. Definitely recommend you using it for any of your original work that you do. Now, what's great about Behind the Haze's message packages is that it's not just a TV ad. Today, you can't run a campaign with just a TV ad. You need a comprehensive digital and social media package that goes with that ad to truly reach teens in today's environment. In fact, many campaigns don't even go on TV anymore. Everything is run digitally. So not only can you run these ads and shorter versions that we have available on digital and social media, but they also come pre-packaged with an entire collection, an entire portfolio of social and digital media components that you can use in your community as well. Here's an example of one of the social themes that comes with See-Through. This one's particularly called Reveals, and what it says is it goes through each individual chemical, right? We've learned from some of our research that teens don't just want to hear about chemicals generally, they want to know specifically what is the chemical and why is it bad for me. So here's an example of chemicals found in paint thinner and polish remover, as well as copper that are found in vaping. And it's can't just do social posts today. There's a lot more complex posts we can do. For example, this is a Facebook Canvas ad, which is a really powerful ad that we can use online, also ready to go within the See-Through package. This one focuses on a couple different chemicals and their harmful effects on your lungs. So remember, every single message package from Behind the Haze includes all the digital and social media that you may need to run this campaign for a 3 to 4 month period. And then there's other message packages available. So we work with each state or community to decide which are the message packages that you want to run locally, what is the schedule that you want to run them on. You don't have to use them all. You can use the ones that you feel would be most effective for your community, and we work with you to make sure that they're implemented right. Let me show you one more message package. This one's called Deceptions on Display.
Anyone who thinks vape companies aren't targeting teens isn't connecting the dots. They came into summer camps, movie nights. They even went to schools and told 9th graders that vapes are totally safe. They lied again and again to create the next generation of addicted customers. They say they're not targeting teens. They must think we're fools. Find the truth at behindthehaze.com.
So Deceptions on Display had an even higher PE score of 3.77, and this is why. Teens are saying that they like how they jumped in on the fact that they sat there and paid off people to tell an alleged lie. It gave us the little sources of information like PBS and stuff instead of just saying it was there. So teens really like that this is a very well-sourced ad. In addition, it was just new information, I guess. I didn't know that people actually went to schools saying that it was safe when it was obviously not. So teens are reacting really powerfully, really upset that this is what the industry did to sell vape products to their generation. So Deceptions on Display, See-Through, they're just 2 of the 3 current message packages that are available as part of the Behind the Haze library. The Behind the Haze message packages are available for any community to license. Then they can be implemented either on your own or with the deep well of expertise from the rescue team. Our team has designed these message packages for the current modern digital campaign. They include components for YouTube, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, digital media, as well as traditional media placements like TV and radio. Our team already has field-tested strategies and tactics that can also be used in your community to help you benefit from the best practices and learnings from across the country. But it's totally your choice how you choose to implement it. However you choose, our team is there to help you to build out your perfect campaign, selecting your custom MPs that you want to use, as well as the implementation strategy that you want to utilize either with our team or with on your own. And that implementation strategy and the length of each of those campaigns is all customized based on your own selections and your own process. But the most important and most valuable part of Behind the Haze really is that you join a community of collaboration across the country. These issues, vaping in particular, it's a national issue, just like many other public health issues. What benefit do we gain by all reinventing the wheel and creating campaigns at the local and state level all across the country? Do we really need 50 or 100 different vaping campaigns to fight a problem that, for the most part, was created from a single source? No. We can actually collaborate, save money, and spend more funds on the actual implementation, whether that's media or community outreach. Today, there's already 10 states that are implementing the Behind the Haze campaign. And by joining them, your community is able to benefit from what we call a national feedback loop. It begins with teen formative research that is ongoing in new states and communities and ongoing states and communities that are contributing to the knowledge base that informs Behind the Haze. In addition, strategy and creative development continues over time and informs the work that's being implemented in your community, as well as new work that's being added to the catalog. Next, the real-time implementation feedback comes from all across the communities where Behind the Haze is being implemented and benefits your community locally. Best practices can almost immediately be activated. We see that an AdWorks, specific Facebook post works really well over here. We can tweak things in another community to immediately leverage that learning. What that ultimately means is that you have a high reduction of risk with Behind the Haze. Why? Because rather than implementing an unknown variable, an experimental campaign that oftentimes are created by local agencies that may not have expertise in public health or vaping or teens, you're implementing a tried and true campaign. A campaign that's already been built, that you can preview before you even decide to buy it, and that has already been tested in other communities. So there's really no risk of a backlash or unintended consequences occurring from the community because this has already been out in the field. It's already been tested with teens. It's already been implemented in other communities, and you can rely on that to know that this is going to be a low-risk campaign that is going to be effective and achieve the goals that you have in your community. Behind the Haze is the solution for any community that is looking to tackle the vaping epidemic seriously, quickly, and in a cost-efficient manner. So if you're ready to get started with Behind the Haze, check out rescueagency.com or check out the information below in this video to learn more about how to contact us and get started on putting together an estimate and checking out the rest of the Behind the Haze library. Thank you for watching, and we'll hope you'll contact us soon.